Hello to everybody. I am Nicolas, Bornozis, President of Capital Inc., and it is our pleasure to welcome Mr. Peter Zacho, the CEO of Navigator Gas, with whom I will have a discussion today. Before we begin, let me simply remind you that this discussion is for information and educational purposes only. We have the privilege to work with Navigator Gas on investor relations, and the full disclaimer is on the opening slide. So our discussion today is going to focus primarily on a number of news that the company has announced, and I will start with the news on the joint venture with Ammon Maritime. So Matt, thank you for joining us. Let me start by asking, the recent announcement was on the formation of a joint venture with Ammon Maritime to construct 2 new ammonia gas carriers. So the question is, these 2 new vessels will be able to use clean ammonia as a fuel. Would they also be able to use another fuel? And also these vessels, are they going to transport ammonia, or can they also carry other fuels?
Good. Thanks a lot, Nicolas, and my pleasure to be here. I look forward to the discussion. First of all, I want to say that we are incredibly excited about this transaction, that we will be building the first 2 ammonia-propelled vessels in the fleet of Navigator. We've been transporting ammonia for 25 years, but this will be a first for us to use it as a fuel. And this is an incredibly important step for us in preparing for the future and making sure that we follow suit on our commitment to have net zero operations by 2050. So this is an important first step for us. To answer your questions more concretely, yeah, I mean, they will be dual fuel. So that means that they will be able to burn both traditional fuel or biofuel for that matter, but they will also be able to burn ammonia. And we expect that for the first 5 years that they will be most all of the time burning ammonia as a fuel. They'll be able to transport both ammonia and LPG, but for the first 5 years, they will be transporting ammonia. They'll be highly flexible, as you can hear, like most all the other vessels that we have in our fleet today.
So thank you, Matt. Ammon Maritime is not a shipping company. As they state, they are a maritime project development company. So can you walk us through what made Ammon Maritime the right partner for this joint venture, and how did this collaboration come together?
Yeah, we've been working with Ammon for a while, and we know each other quite well by now. Ammon has a very strong project management and also engineering capabilities, and they've worked with the Norwegian authorities in securing us the Enova grant. So that's an important first one. We'll be working together, Navigator and Ammon, during the construction phase of the vessels, and we'll jointly supervise the construction as it goes. We'll also be working together on the commercial setup after the vessels have been delivered. So it's not a, you could say, one-time collaboration. It's one that we expect will continue for many years. Navigator is also partnering with Ammon in Assane Fuel Solutions that we have worked on for a couple of years, where we are designing bunkering solutions for ammonia. So this is a collaboration that has that goes back a couple of years, and we are good partners.
Thank you. So you mentioned now and also in the press release that there was a 90 million Norwegian kroner, that's about $90 million, grant from the Norwegian government agency Enova. So can you elaborate? Is this something that you can possibly count on for other vessels in the future?
Yeah, just to clarify that the $90 million, 90 million Norwegian kroners, it's per vessel. So that means that a total of 180 million Norwegian kroners, and that is about $18 million for the 2 vessels in total. The grant was secured about a year ago by Ammon. We would probably, and the grant is going to be used for investing into cutting-edge technology associated with the ammonia propulsion. So these vessels will be very energy efficient, and they will have the highest specs you can have in constructing a vessel like that. We don't think necessarily that it's something that we'll be able to do again. I mean, the Innova Grant is to be used for breaking new ice, for trying out new technologies. So it'll be something that we can use for these two vessels. And we have noted that Ammon has done a similar, or received a similar grant for the construction of bulk carriers, but that's of course an entirely different segment. If we were to secure further grants, it would have to be new technologies and something that comes in addition, in extension of what we're doing now.
Thank you. Now, you started touching upon the ships from an operational and technical standpoint. So
Yeah.
from an operational standpoint, how do these vessels compare to Navigator's current fleet in terms of flexibility, emissions profile, and commercial potential?
Yeah. First of all, these vessels will be larger. They will be 51,500 cubic meters, and that means they will be the biggest vessels in our fleet. And that means with the size, they will be more economical on $1 per ton of cargo. So that's one. And then being dual fuel, they will be highly flexible with regard to what fuel to use. Emissions will be very low because they will be fueled by clean ammonia. It'll take a little bit of pilot fuel. There will also be some Scope 3 emissions from the production of the clean ammonia. That's inevitable, but it'll be significantly less when you compare to traditional fuel oil. We estimate about 80 to 90% less when it comes to the CO2 equivalent emissions. The commercial potential is great. Not least with the regulation coming in from the EU ETS and Fuel EU. And then on top of this, we expect that the IMO net zero framework is going to come into place later this year. And that'll in itself make clean ammonia a cheaper option than traditional fuel oil as soon as from 2030 and onwards. So great commercial potential from this new technology.
And that leads me to the next question. You mentioned that these two ships are going to operate under 5-year charters with a blue chip counterparty. So
Yeah.
what can you share about the charter rates or the structure of the charter, and how do you view the risk-reward profile of the deal? Is there a freight difference for these vessels compared to vessels that use other types of fuels as a bunker?
Yeah. The charterer will make its own announcement in due course. So I'm going to be a little bit evasive, you could say, on that part of it. That'll come out. It's not going to be too long. So we look forward to that. And we are incredibly excited about the time charter and also the relationship that we have in this respect. The risk reward profile is very attractive for both the charterer and for Navigator Ammon. And the main reasons for this is the Innova grant and also the tightening emissions regulation that we are going to see. So that means that ammonia will be a very attractive fuel of the future, and as soon as 2030, we expect that it's going to be highly competitive compared to traditional fuels. So that's our view on it.
Thank you. So you mentioned that the investment in this joint venture will be accretive to Navigator's earnings. Can you elaborate a little bit on this?
Yeah. Together with Ammon, we have secured attractive pricing for the new building. It's a state-of-the-art ammonia-propelled vessel, and it'll be built by Sino-Pacific in China. We expect that we can achieve very competitive financing for the vessel at the same time. So that'll count. And this in combination with the Innova grant, that's going to make the two vessels very competitive indeed. Once they are delivered and on contract, they will contribute earnings and returns that we expect will exceed the performance of the current Navigator fleet. So that's what we mean when we say that it'll be accretive to earnings.
So let me now go to a bit of a broader topic. Can you talk a little bit about the use of ammonia as a fuel? How confident are you in the regulatory and technological path for ammonia propulsion, especially looking to 2028 and beyond?
Yeah. I can firmly say that we are very confident that clean ammonia will be a successful marine fuel. in terms of regulation, the EU and the IMO have made very clear commitments to net zero emission shipping by 2050. And that will lead to gradually higher penalties for emitting CO2. And that makes all types of clean fuels more competitive from 2030 onwards. We think ammonia is particularly competitive. It can be produced both from green hydrogen, and it can also be produced from natural gas with CO2 sequestration. And that means that the ramp up in the production of ammonia can be relatively fast and in very large volumes. When you see the typical blue ammonia projects right now, we're talking millions of tons per annum in terms of capacity for these projects, which exceeds most of the other types of alternative fuels that will, for each project, lead to significantly smaller production volume. So here ammonia has a distinct advantage, and it's also from a cost perspective a very competitive fuel. The technology for using ammonia as a fuel is developed, and it's being implemented as we speak now by Korean and Chinese shipyards. We have MAN and we have WinGD, large engine manufacturers, that they are right now delivering the technology for the construction of these vessels. I think when we count the new building order book right now, we see almost 50 new buildings that are being built with ammonia propulsion. So it's still early days, but we already see now that the volumes in terms of new building orders are ramping up, and we expect that there will be a quick learning curve in terms of building this technology. So I think there's great resolve in the industry to make clean ammonia a successful marine fuel, and we think that it's going to be a significant proportion of the alternative fuel consumption that will be from clean ammonia.
Thank you, Matt. And now that takes me to the next question. You already touched upon that. Navigator is the owner and operator of the world's largest fleet of handy-sized liquefied gas carriers. You have right now 58 ships in the water, and you have a new building program of 6 vessels. So can you elaborate a little bit on your new building program?
Yes, indeed. Our new building program consists of 4 dual fuel, mid-size, 48,500 cubic meter ethylene capable vessels. And they will be dual fuel, as I said. They can burn both ethane and also traditional fuel oil. And then in addition to that, we have these 2 dual fuel 51,500 cubic meter ammonia LPG capable vessels. So both in the area of ethylene vessels and ammonia carriers, this is very strategic for us. Those are products that we have been carrying for many years and are very core to Navigator today. We have very strong market positions in both, and we see strong demand and supply outlook for both. So I guess nobody should be surprised that we are building vessels that are ethylene capable and ammonia vessels at the same time, because they have been and will continue to be core to the strategy for Navigator.
Thank you. And let me now move to another topic. There was another very interesting announcement that you made on the strategic collaboration between Navigator and Babcock International Group. So this one, as mentioned, there's a partnership that will develop innovative technologies that will significantly reduce the time required to switch a ship's cargo from carrying one type of cargo, for example, LPG, to another one, for example, ammonia. Fascinating, I think, concept here. So let me start by asking, what type of cooperation is this? Is it a JV, a cooperation between the 2 companies?
Yeah, it's a collaboration between 2 companies on developing new technology, and I guess it just shows our resolve in working together with partners that have complementary capabilities to ours, and working together on moving the boundaries for what can be done in shipping. Babcock is today a leading gas engineering company. And we at the same time, we have for 25 years been handling difficult cryogenic cargoes in a safe and reliable and efficient way. So you can say our competencies are fitting really well together. The thought was that we can combine this collective know-how that we have and the competencies in something that's quite complex and quite niche, and then work together to develop something that would strengthen our the way that we are working and developing you could say new and better solutions for our customers. I think we're trying this way to address the trend where ammonia will become a larger part of the trade lanes overall for gas transportation and together with LPG. So the objective is that we develop this idea into a concrete and actionable product that we can take to our customers and to the shipyards, and then develop new types of vessels accordingly.
The idea of being able to switch from one type of cargo to another clearly provides great flexibility operationally. But let me ask you, what types of cargoes does it involve? I mean, you can switch back and forth between what types of cargoes, and what are the operational challenges that this cooperation is aiming to resolve?
Yeah, it's intended to be between LPG and ammonia. And gas vessels have up to this period in time have been constructed with not with a view to change efficiently between different cargo types like ammonia and LPG. And I guess it's kind of natural because ammonia for fertilizer production has been shipped, you could say, a steady 17 million tons per annum and on dedicated vessels for this. And the market has been handled by long-term charter contracts, and that has not really led to any sort of innovation. But what happened in the meantime was that LPG has grown considerably. 2014, there were about 64 million metric tons moved, and just last year it was 146 million tons. So quite significant growth here. And we expect now that ammonia will see a similar growth path in the next coming years, simply because ammonia will be used for not only for fertilizer but also for as a energy vector. So it will be used for marine energy, and it will also be used for energy in other sources. So we think there'll be quite considerable growth in ammonia, and that means that switching between the two fuels or between the two types of cargo will be important. If we put those two together, we think that there will be a lot of our customers and some of the trades that will benefit from triangulation. And that means that we can reduce ballast legs. That means that we can take ammonia from one location to another, and then we can change grade to LPG and carry LPG on a different trade. So we think that there will be some efficiency here from that triangulation that would reduce ballasting, and that means that both in terms of charter hire, but also in terms of emissions, that there'll be quite significant savings from doing so. So we are really trying to not only improve the environment, but also the pockets of our customers by doing so.
That's great. So regarding this particular project, what stage of development is it at? Is there a timeline for it? Have you already seen some practical implementation results?
Yeah, we are right now in the final inning of finalizing the engineering for the ammonia to LPG and back efficiencies for a gas carrier, and we will subsequently be looking to contract it with the customer. So right now it's mainly been on technology development, and then we will be ready for the more commercial discussions relatively soon. So we expect this to be something that can develop commercially imminently.
Mats, thank you very much. I think I have reached the end of my questions. We appreciate having you with us today. Great and very insightful discussion as always. So thank you. Let me remind our listeners that this interview will be available to access upon demand at www.capitallinkwebinars.com and also on Capital Link's YouTube channel. Thank you, Mats, for being with us, and thank you to everybody for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you the next time.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.